If you want to know how bad me and my twin brother had it growing up in our father's house, the best people to ask would be the other kids in the neighborhood. If you'd ask either of my two older sisters, who were also twins, you get vague, meaningless answers. For a good portion of their entire identities were molded by this sadistic, narcissistic, sociopathic, sad excuse of a father. One of his goals, or fears really, was to have his children would form an alliance against him. So in quote-unquote raising these kids, he made sure to pit them against one another. For his goal was to have his set of twins not only hate the other set of twins, but also each other, their own twin. My shitty father succeeded in this regard, and none of the four siblings talked to the other four siblings. None. No communication. Our father got custody of the two sets of twins when my twin brother and I were about to start first grade. We lived in the neighborhood Timberwood Park or something like that near San Antonio, Texas for the first half of first grade. Then he abruptly moved us to Bulverde, Texas, also near San Antonio, where we finished the second half of the year. Our two sisters were in fifth grade at this time, and it was the only time we went to the same school as them. It was also the only time we met any of our father's siblings. He supposedly had like 10 brothers and sisters from New York City, but you couldn't really believe a word the guy says. However, I do distinctly remember meeting Uncle Larry, a tall, light-haired guy in Bulverde on more than one occasion. Our father recently told our son-in-law some bullshit story of not seeing any of his siblings since he was 10, but I guess he didn't think I'd have as good as a memory as I do. In second grade, he moved us to the house on Quail Hollow. It was the scariest looking house on the street, perfect for our dark and effed up father, who had only hate and disdain for his only two sons. The front of the house had spooky trees curling up out of the ground like they were hands from a demon's arms. The way the house was built on a hill, it was further away from the street, so it made it darker than all the other houses on the street. It was, in a middle-class neighborhood, and every other house got a lot of trick-or-treaters on Halloween, but most kids and their parents knew to stay clear of the old Brandt house. Hey, the parents at least looked out for us. They would call city services and the CPS on him on multiple occasions. My brother and I weren't allowed to have guests over, but the few times any of the kids in the neighborhood got to peek inside, they would see my brother in my room, barren, nothing but a TV and a pile of dirty clothes to sleep on. Later, our father made us sleep in the closet in the garage. Some nights he'd lock us in there. I'll never forget the sound of the rats breeding in the walls. I hate rats. But if you really want to know what it's like, you gotta ask the other kids in the neighborhood, and I'll get to them in the next story. I'm Mr. G. I hope you guys are enjoying these stories. Don't forget to check out my book, Gonzo Education. Here's a couple pictures of the house. Everyone have a great day.